I just spent about 4 hours watching YouTube in the dark. That's another struggle I have with ADHD and anxiety. I've been avoiding doing this project wholeheartedly, or like professionally procrastinated doing this project. I just watched YouTube and go into YouTube holes for hours now. And yet, making this right now is giving me very high anxiety. But we're gonna see how it turns out.
Hi, I am Rebecca Frazier, and I have anxiety and ADHD. It's kind of like having an angel on one shoulder and a devil on one shoulder. So like, for me, ADHD makes me forget things to do and like misplace things, and even when you want to do something and you know you should do it, you just can't. But it also has some positive things. And anxiety makes me like double check everything I'm doing, makes me constantly assume that I'm doing something wrong.
When I start to feel anxiety, I get very fidgety. Like I'll start like doing things with my hands, biting my lips, scratching my face, or picking at my skin. You'll feel like warmth going from like all over your head and your face, and then your chest tightens and your stomach starts to hurt a little bit. Then like your breathing increases, and you kind of just forget where you are or what you're doing, and it's like you're just trying to get through that moment. It's really hard to snap out of it and be reasonable, but you know you're gonna make it out. You have to keep reminding yourself.
I may or may not have had a slight anxiety attack. Got some bad news from a releasing office, and change is hard.
And so like when my ADHD acts up, it makes me spontaneous. My anxiety talks back and basically makes me like ashamed of that. So it's this constant mental battle. But the anxiety keeps me safe and financially stable, which is nice. And the ADHD gives me tons of ideas and allows me to be very creative. Today, I just realized it's Sunday, and I just realized that I didn't do any of the quizzes that were due on Friday. It's like a super common thing for me to like realize, and then you immediately feel really guilty for forgetting, even though it's not necessarily your fault. You're like, I would like to function, just a little bit better. I go to therapy every 2 weeks, and I take medicine to try to regulate my ADHD. And yet through the whole time I feel guilty. So it may look like a confident, goofy person on the outside, but internally it just kind of sucks, because you don't feel like you're a whole person, if that makes sense. Like you're constantly keeping up. You're just always behind.